Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast, this time talking about The Prisoner Volume 3, the last of the boxed sets. I don't know why, but I possibly expected there to be another one. I was wrong. Based on the classic ITV series, this has gone a different way. Now, I intended doing two different Prisoner podcasts. The first one, this one, reviewing the box set. Spoiler free. It has to be. And the next one I'm going to do, I'm not sure when I'll do it, will be comparing a very specific aspect, and that one will be spoiler heavy. So be warned before you download that one and listen to it, because I want to look at the endings. The ending of this box set, the ending of the Prisoner series here versus the ending of the Prisoner series on TV. Are you ready for that? Well, that will be another podcast, so bear with me while I review quickly, or not too quickly, this particular jaunt. So, I am not a number, I am a free man. January the 16th, 1967. Number 6 is still trapped in the village. Do those who run the place want simply to extract classified information, or do they have a darker purpose? Number 6 has to believe he will escape, and this time he begins to see a possible way out. But will the price of freedom be too high? 3.1, Free for All. I'll discuss each one after I've done the synopsis, because that way I'm not going to give you any spoilers. But if you don't want any spoilers at all, how about I just say a fitting end? An ending better than the TV series, and as far as I'm concerned, just a storming collection. If you've had the other two, you need this one to finish them off. 3 box sets, just brilliant. And I'm sure at some point they'll be available in one big, lovely cardboard-bound sleeve. Superb. The Prisoner just rocked. That's all you need to know. But if you want to hear me talk about the actual individual stories, of course I will. Keep listening. Time for an election in the village. The regime seems to want 6 to stand as a candidate to be number 2, but when 2's manifesto seems to be based on the notion of freedom, what platform will 6 decide to stand upon? And can there ever be freedom in the village? Now, of course, Free for All is the episode where number 6 on the TV gets to be number 2, and apparently gets to find out things. It gets a bit complicated beyond that. Very, very dark, very, very strange. And in the UK, we're currently weeks, days away from a general election that could either save the planet, save the world, save the UK, save European Union, or just sell us wholesale out to Donald the Honest Trump. Yeah, I'm not at all fixated on the election. I'm not finding it difficult to sleep, difficult to think, difficult to work my way through things, difficult to think about anything other than the current state of politics in the UK and indeed the world. Oh no. So obviously I'm going to deeply enjoy something where somebody's talking about freedom. And here we've got a great story. Nick Briggs, in his interviews, does say that he had no idea there was going to be an election in the UK, which I can kind of understand, but its timing is so elegant. I love this story on TV, and I equally love it on audio, because it's different. Because in this box set we've got interlinked stories. These narratively follow on from each other. They're all very different, but one follows another and follows another and so on. They all lead they'll all lead towards the end, where we get to find out, well, what happens. Story number 2, 3.2, The Girl Who Was Deaf. Now, in the original, it was a story. This was my first ever Prisoner episode that I saw, which is very unlike other Prisoner episodes. And this story is a classic spy drama, which is a little bit odd, and you start thinking, what is going on? And you start thinking what's going on all the way through it. And it's a story that is linked with number 2, trying to find out. He's basically telling a story to kids when you find out, in a kind of Princess Bridey kind of a way. It's as if he might reveal something, but of course he doesn't. And of course, in this storyline, well, here's the synopsis as written on the website. No spoilers as always. 6 finds himself free again, back in London. But how did he get here? An explosion rocks the city, and 6 must work out who he can trust. Will it be Control, Danvers, number 43, Kate, number 2, or Potter? You see, it's a similar storyline in the grounds that it's away from the village, but you've got lots of flashes of the original story that occur here, but of course this is more to do with the continuing narrative. It feels much more like a spy drama, and that's something I'm going to have to deal with in my second podcast, where I talk about the endings. It's a cracking spy tale, and it goes along a storm, and it really feels like it's building somewhere, and the place it's building is 3.3, the Seltzman Collection. Potter and ZM73, that's the prisoner's code name. It's really nice that they've managed to give him a name in this. I think that if they go back to the beginning of it all, they'll all be able to solve the mystery of the village. But can Professor Jakob Seltzman really provide all the answers? He probably could, but I'm not going to go down that road, not here. It's a continuing spy drama, but it does have that whole mind swap, body swap thing going on that was so prevalent in those early stories. Yes, I know the reality of the story is that Patrick McGoohan had to go and film Ice Station Zebra, so that he wasn't available for the story, so they had to do a body swap thing. But here, it's milked and moved so much better, and Nick Briggs creates something truly meaningful, truly inspiring. And I know he says he dashed these scripts off, but what he actually did was channel the thoughts that had been in his head for years, brewing, and he just let them out. The story wrote itself because the story was already there. Yes, he was exhausted because all he did was let it free. These thoughts, these concepts, these ideas are run very deep. And yes, it may not have taken long, but that's because the story already lived. Like Michelangelo used to talk about something being in a rock and you just had to let it free. That's what he's done with this story. There are concepts dealt with here that should have been dealt with in TV, and they work beautifully. 3.4, the last ever of our stories, is a very simple synopsis. From London to Candisfield to the village. Will an end to it all ever be possible? And that is dealt with beautifully. And as I've said elsewhere, a better ending than the TV show. And I don't see that lightly. It's more understandable, and yet it's more eccentric. Yes, it's curiously odd, but it does make sense. So, with that, I'll let you hear the trailer and you can decide for yourself. So until next time, be seeing you.
From Big Finish Productions, The Prisoner Volume 3.
Orange alert. Orange alert.
My God! What is it?
I won't be pushed, stamped, debriefed, or numbered.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
You know there's nothing Control doesn't know.
Open fire!
How's the future? And for my entertainment, make it convincing.
I'm in charge.
There's a cod war with Iceland.
Cod?
Maybe there is no escape from the village.
Rover approaching. Rover now approaching.
Number 43, was she on the plane? I thought she died in the crash too, like you.
I can report that ZM73 has returned to number 1.
We've joined the European Economic Community.
What the hell are you talking about? Free for all.
Village Rifle Association.
Lean in, breathe out slowly, and squeeze the trigger.
I love you.
The Defense Secretary himself actually exploded.
Morocco. You won't break me. You won't take me back. I won't bend to your rules. My life and my thoughts are my own. I resign. I will take no part in any of this. I resign!
Is this the ending you've decided on?
No, you can't. I'm not a number. I'm a free man.
Big finish. We love stories.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.